Dexter kicked off in the early 2000s, and critics applauded the show's take on justice and morality, earning Dexter the reputation as much-watched television. Dexter's initial success came down to its uniquely dark and compelling premise: a forensic blood splatter analyst by day and serial killer by night. It was a success right out of the gate, with over 1 million viewers just in the US alone tuning into the season 1 premiere on Showtime, and the ratings kept exploding from there, with numerous episodes hitting above 1 million viewers across all seasons, with season 8's opening actually hitting 3 million viewers. Season 1 carefully built the tension as Dexter's backstory was revealed, culminating in the chilling reveal that the Ice Road trucker was actually his long-lost brother, Brian Moser. This twist is both tragic and shocking, setting quite the high bar for the psychological storytelling. Michael C. Hall's brilliant performance as Dexter is a cornerstone of this show's rise. Hall brings a nuance and an unsettling calm to a character that could very easily become cartoonish. His narration adds a chilling intimacy as viewers get an inside look at Dexter's moral code that was instilled from him by his adoptive father, Harry. Season 1 was based off Jeff Lindsay's novel, Darkly Dreaming Dexter, which is always a great place to start for an adaptation. This not only engages fans of the books, but also brings in new viewers. Season 2 continued to raise the bar. Dexter became a subject of an intense manhunt run by his own colleagues. The tension of this season is relentless, balancing high-stakes suspense with dark humor and inner turmoil. The show would slow down its pace a bit for Season 3, rather focusing on Dexter's friendship with Assistant District Attorney Miguel Prado. While it didn't quite reach the highs of the previous seasons, and received more mixed critical response, the season was still a rating success. This is followed by what many people call the undeniable peak of the series, Season 4. The finale was watched by over 2.6 million viewers, which was a record for Showtime at the time. John Lithgow's portrayal of Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, is nothing short of iconic. Mitchell is the perfect foil for Dexter, a seemingly ordinary family man who secretly commits horrific crimes. Lithgow's performance earned himself a Primetime Emmy Award and reinforced the show's popularity. But after Season 4, things started to change, and not for the better. The first major blow came with changes behind the scenes. Original showrunner Clyde Phillips would depart from the Dexter team after Season 4. He had been with the show since its initial launch, but only expected the show to go a maximum of 6 seasons. When he discovered that the series would go beyond that time frame, he chose to take a step back and spend time with his family. The creative reins were handed over into new leadership in the form of Chip Johannesson. Many noted that the change in approach to the show was noticeable and took away from the heartbeat that was Dexter. Season 5 introduced the odd idea of a team-up series. We're introduced to Lumen Pierce, a survivor of abuse who wants to team up with Dexter in order to get revenge on her attackers. While the season introduced interesting themes on the effect of trauma and the path to redemption, it struggled to regain the intensity of earlier seasons. Jordan Chase felt underdeveloped as the main villain and was much less menacing than the previous antagonists. Boyd Fowler, one of the earlier targets, also failed to leave any lasting impression. And while Dexter and Lumen's relationship added some emotional layers, many felt that the chemistry that they had was pretty forced. By the end of the season, critics and longtime viewers voiced their concerns whether or not the show had lost its edge. Season 6 marked the moment where many longtime viewers tuned out. After the lukewarm reception of Season 5, fans were keen to see a return to form, giving Johannesson the benefit of the doubt as he was the new kid in town. Instead, it became one of the most widely criticized seasons of the entire series, marking a clear downward shift in the storytelling quality. On paper, the Doomsday arc promised high stakes and a thematic exploration of sin, faith, and divine punishment. In execution, however, it quickly started to unravel, with poor pacing, heavy-handed symbolism, and a late-season twist that left many feeling cheated. There was also a lack of growth with our protagonist, with many feeling Dexter had stagnated. His internal monologues lacked the sharpness and introspection of the earlier seasons, as well as his interactions with the main villains feeling disconnected. Rather than a tense game of cat and mouse, this season felt more like a disjointed compilation of scenes that lacked any real momentum. There seemed to be a small glimmer of hope when Season 7 opened with Dexter Morgan figuring out Dexter's secret. This revelation jolted back some much-needed tension back into the series, offering a new emotional depth, as Deborah has to grapple with the horrifying truth of who her brother really is. While the season delivered on strong character work and a more cohesive tone than prior entries, it still suffered from erratic pacing and contrived plot turns. Subplots like the Ukrainian mob arc led by Isaac Serko felt disconnected from the central narrative. Meanwhile, LaGuardia's investigation offered compelling tension, but concluded in a way that left some viewers unconvinced by its resolution. Then comes Season 8. This was the final chapter of Dexter's original run. The show introduced Dr. Evelyn Vogel, a neuropsychologist that claims to have helped invented the very code that Dexter lives by. Her presence promised to deepen the mythology of the show, diving into the psychology of psychopathy and exploring Dexter's origins in more detail. Despite these intriguing concepts, the show struggled under the weight of having to wrap up 8 years of storylines while balancing the new character arcs. This meant that this season felt way overstuffed, with arcs feeling rushed or underdeveloped. Vogel, despite her narrative importance, is abruptly killed off, and her son Oliver, who's the villain this time, feels very unimpressive when compared to other villains such as Trinity. Subplots involving Deborah's emotional spiral and her attempt to rebuild her life offer glimpses of depth, but often feel inconsistent or abruptly resolved. The most controversial moment comes at the series finale, Remember the Monsters. Dexter, who is overwhelmed by guilt after Deborah is left brain dead, cuts off her life support and disposes of her body in the ocean. He then fakes his death by sailing into a hurricane, only to be revealed alive, living in isolation as a lumberjack. This ending was met with overwhelming backlash from both critics and fans alike. It was slammed for being emotionally unsatisfying, narratively incoherent, and tone-deaf. Many described it as a betrayal of the character's arc, with it even garnering the title Worst Series Finale in Television History by Den of Geeks. Fans questioned Dexter's choice of abandoning his son and choosing a life of isolation over accountability or redemption. What began as a bold, morally complex thriller ends with ambiguity and silence. Rather than closing with an impactful kill or even a moment of reckoning, Dexter fades out, haunted but unpunished. The show's legacy, once defined by bold storytelling, is now clouded in disappointment. 8 years later, Showtime attempted to rectify the original series ending with Dexter: New Blood. Clyde Phillips would also return to the show, which had fans' hopes high once more. Set a decade away from the events of the finale, Dexter lives under the alias of Jim Lindsay in Iron Lake, New York. The series reintroduced familiar characters, as well as focusing on Dexter's relationship with his estranged son, Harrison. The revival started out promising. The snowy setting was in stark contrast to the sunny Miami. Michael C. Hall delivered a very strong and subdued performance that mirrored Dexter's cold starkness of his isolation. While the season did receive favorable reviews, with a score of 61 on Metacritic, it concluded with Dexter's assumed death at the hands of his son Harrison, which left fans feeling mixed emotions. Many fans felt that the finale was rushed and poorly written. Critics and fans pointed out many inconsistencies in the character and plot development. For instance, Dexter's sudden abandonment of his code when he killed Logan in an attempt to escape felt rushed and panicked. Additionally, Angela's rapid deduction of Dexter's true identity with minimal evidence, and then allowing Harrison to go free right after killing his father, strained the credibility. Fans expressed their disappointment on social media, with some even stating that this season's finale was worse than the original series finale. In 2024, Showtime released Dexter: Original Sin, a prequel series exploring young Dexter's transformation into a killer with the guidance of Harry. Set in 1991 Miami, the series delves into Dexter's early experiences, including his forensic internship at the Miami Metro Police Department, which challenges and code that Harry has instilled in him. Critics have praised the performances, particularly Patrick Gibson as a young Dexter and Christian Slater as Harry, noting that the casting captures the essence of the original characters. However, some argue that the series lacks suspense and originality, describing it as a tired, uninspired prequel. Fans of the original series were also divided. While some appreciated the deeper exploration of Dexter in his formative years, others felt that the prequel wasn't really offering anything new, and that maybe it was a time to let Dexter die. But Showtime is definitely not done yet. Set to premiere in July this year, Dexter Resurrection promises yet another twist in the franchise's journey. Despite Dexter's assumed death in New Blood, Michael C. Hall returns for this final installment, alongside new cast members Peter Dinklage and Uma Thurman. Details are scarce, but speculation does run wild. How will Dexter escape his heavily guarded hospital bed? Is it all simply a coma-based hallucination? Or is he actually alive and ready to unleash the full power of the Dark Passenger? The showrunners, including Clyde Phillips, hint at Dexter's relationship with his son Harrison evolves in new ways, possibly done through memory, dream sequences, or psychological framework. Early reports suggest that the tone will be more philosophical, with a stronger focus on consequences and redemption. Will Resurrection finally give fans the closure that they crave, or will it further muddy Dexter's legacy? Despite all of the missteps, Dexter still remains one of the most iconic series of the early 2000s. It pioneered the idea of rooting for the killer and made audiences complicit in the anti-hero's actions. It pushed the boundaries of what network TV could depict, blending crime, horror, and comedy in a way that few shows have ever even tried. The series earned 24 Primetime Emmy nominations, as well as 2 Golden Globe wins, including a Best Actor award for Michael C. Hall. It helped redefine Showtime as a home for prestige drama, as well as opening the door for morally complex narratives in mainstream entertainment. Dexter's journey has been somewhat of a yo-yo in terms of fan appreciation. From groundbreaking series to polarizing franchise, the show is an amazing example that the gamble you take with serialized storytelling. When done right, it creates television history, but when mismanaged, you can alienate your own fans. The franchise's attempt at a rival, from New Blood to Original Sin, have been ambitious, if uneven. As it currently stands, there has been new love for New Blood and Original Sin, as the anticipation for the new spin-off series builds. What do you think? Will Dexter Resurrection redeem the franchise's legacy, or is it time to let the dark passenger finally rest? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching Screen Rant.